It is Friday, December 16th. Let's talk PlayStation. As you can tell by the title of this video, this will not be a... There's a piece of hair on me. As you can tell by the title of this video, this is not going to be a traditional Let's Talk PlayStation because, well, the holiday season, this always happens. Game news is kind of like winding down. A lot of developers, publishers, people that work at Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, they like to go home to their families. There's not really a whole lot going on. So usually we'll spend, the next 2-3 episodes, especially going into 2017 or the new year, we'll spend some time doing other topics like our predictions video, which we will be due for, relatively soon. So for this video, I thought we could talk about my favorite games of 2016 that I played throughout the year. Real quick though, we will do one little news story that did happen. It was just more of a rumor, and it's kind of BS. But so actually, this past week, the New York Post was posting a rumor about how Sony Interactive Entertainment and Sony Pictures might merge, and that Andrew House, of course, head of Sony Interactive Entertainment, might head that merger. Sony already responded to this comment saying that it's pretty much complete speculation and that this is not happening whatsoever. Their comments, Sony's representative was actually pretty bullish on it, in response to it, kind of saying like this is like purely speculation, whereas usually they just give some sort of blanketed statement that is like just flat out, we do not comment on rumor and speculation. And they won't even, sometimes when they say that, they won't even say it's not true, or obviously, well, they wouldn't say it is true, but usually they wouldn't say, no, it's not true. They'll just say, comment on rumor and speculation. But they flat out said, no, this is not at all anything, and this is based purely on rumors and speculation. They seemed pretty confident that this was not actually happening. It wouldn't make any sense anyway. I feel like it's a little bit odd, but the rumor has to come from somewhere. Maybe, there was like slight rumblings within Sony, who knows, but I would have to imagine this would not come to fruition whatsoever. Oh, why would Andrew House be responsible for Sony Pictures? It just doesn't make any sense. All right. That's really the only big major Sony-related news story going on. So, let's talk about my favorite games of 2016. I got a list, and honestly, I'm not gonna level with you guys. It's pretty sad, and this is really eye-opening as to how much time I have nowadays, and how precious I guess it is that I should really, focus more on the things I really enjoy. Well, that's the thing. I only played the things that I really enjoyed. And so these are some of the things. Yeah, you just go ahead and make fun of me. There are like a crap load of AAA big budget games that came out this year, and admittedly, not only did I not play them, I didn't even get them. It's tough, It is, for me at least. I work a lot of hours, try to have a social life and games and whatnot. I'm not trying to feed you excuses, but there's a lot of big games in here. There's a lot of big games that came out this past year, and I didn't even get a chance to play them. But these are the games I played, the ones I spent the most time with, and the ones I thoroughly enjoyed. So I'm going to get this one out of the way because I think it's pretty obvious. Uncharted 4, a lot of people are still asking for the review, which I still would really love to do at some point. Time is always an issue. Yeah, so I don't even want to spend too much time on it because I think Uncharted 4 is kind of obvious. It was clearly a fantastic game on a number of levels, whether it was story, gameplay, presentation. The game was just like firing on every single cylinder. It was a game. It's a typical Naughty Dog game, and that's kind of the reputation Naughty Dog has earned recently. Is that they're sort of in a class of their own, and Uncharted 4 is one of their many good examples of that. It was just a fantastic game all around. Ratchet & Clank, the Ratchet & Clank reboot, now this was 2016, that was a great game. Let me tell you about Ratchet & Clank. What I like about it is not only that it's Ratchet & Clank, admittedly Ratchet & Clank is one of my, I guess, least liked PlayStation exclusives, PlayStation franchises. So it's not even the fact that it was Ratchet & Clank, it's the fact that it was a very good platformer, and I miss 3D platformers. I miss that genre so much, and I wish it came back to life. But that's just not the reality of modern gaming. So to play something like that and play it on PlayStation 4, 2016, get all the graphics, the power to just make the game look absolutely stunning, and still enjoy, obviously, the classic gameplay of 3D platformers. And Ratchet & Clank, the actual name that's a great franchise. I mean, the fun weapons in that game are always a blast to use. The humor is great too. I mean, that game it's one of those few games that genuinely make me laugh out loud. So that's always fun. Now, speaking of games that make me laugh out loud, just recently, not too long ago, this came out, Job Simulator. Now, let me tell you, Job Simulator, I loved. I think it's the best virtual reality game you can buy and play right now. I legitimately think that. And the reason being is because it's a great game to start. So say you've never even really ever tried virtual reality, or you have a tough time playing it in sort of extended play sessions. I think it's a really great game to start off with, and you know, it's just it's got the perfect mix of your, what do you call it, like your first gen VR game. Like, I'd say, what, 10, 15 years down the line, you're going to have much more ambitious, fantastic VR games that, you know, really take advantage of the technology and the immersion level. But for right now, as a sort of Gen 1 flow of games and hardware, I think Job Simulator nails it on all fronts. Not only because it's easy, it's accessible, it's a great idea, it's funny. You get to play as a store clerk, working in an office, being an auto mechanic or a gourmet chef. It's all humorous, by the way. Clearly, like, the game is, it's complete satire all around. It makes me laugh all the time whenever I play it. And I love having people come over to play it. I had my buddy Terrell come over to play it, and I couldn't get him to take it off. He was playing the store clerk, you know, scene, and he's got the 2-move controllers, and he's doing this, that, and the other, and he's having a blast. And I just think it's the quintessential VR game. It really is extremely enjoyable. And granted, it's short, but that's, I think, another good thing about it. It's short, but it's not too short, I feel. Because there's only really so much you can do with this sort of idea of just being planted in one area and just kind of doing menial tasks over and over and over again. So I think it had the right length, too. It's a few hours, not like 1 or 2 hours. It'll take probably 3 or 4, and it's, you know, it's not just overly long, too. Next one, Inside. Inside obviously got a lot of praise this past year. I'm one of those people that I wouldn't give it as much acclaim as it is getting, but I do see where a lot of people are coming from. What I thoroughly enjoyed about Inside is that it's much like Limbo and how the games are designed. They're carefully crafted. Every single piece of that game is specifically crafted to look the way it looks and for things to play out the way it plays out. Like in the very beginning of the game, not really a spoiler, but when you're, you know, running away and a dog starts to chase you. And though that, like, one little scenario, and many other scenarios in the game are timed just perfectly. There's not really a lot of instances where you can sort of do one decision and then do another decision without dying. Like, you have to do it, you know, just at the very cusp of making it. And I mean, yeah, that's, some people would call that tedious, but I just like how a lot of those moments are just so finely woven. And even though you know if you were to, you know, press the stick all the way to the right, and you know you're sort of clear for whatever sequence is coming next, you always still get sort of like a pounding in your heart, like, oh god, like that thing's about to touch me or something. Like, there's another moment in the game that it's kind of like the underwater section for the people that know what I'm talking about, and there's this thing that follows you, and it's, oh, I don't like it, but that's the feeling it gives you, and I enjoy that. Next one, Firewatch. Now, I know Firewatch a lot of people have problems with. I don't know why. I really enjoyed Firewatch. I'll tell you why I enjoyed Firewatch. I didn't like the ending. Now I won't spoil anything, but I didn't like the ending, but what I did like is the journey there. I think a lot of the times with these walking simulator games, which is kind of the genre a lot of people throw around now for this, and it makes sense. With that kind of genre in a lot of those games, I'm finding that, and I really enjoy that genre. I do like it because they're easy and they're short bursts of games. You know, you can finish them in one night. So it's great for someone like me who has a hard time finding a lot of time to play games. But you can finish it in one night and you can get a lot done in just, say, 3-4 hours. You know, even like 1 to 2 hours, 3 to 4 hours. I mean, that's bordering like movie length times and much further than movie length time. So it's still plenty of time to tell a story and, you know, get your point across. And what I liked about Firewatch was the journey. I think the whole way there, except the ending, was really compelling. It always left me kind of like yearning to keep going through it. And I did it all in one night. But like, it was just like the whole night, the whole time I was playing it was intense. I like the dialogue was great. It just kind of left me on like the edge of my seat, I guess. And what I even like more about Firewatch is that it's very clear. The one thing I am disliking about certain walking simulators, and maybe that's just because I'm too simple, I'm a simple guy, but I don't really like obtuse stories or where they're really subtle, or, you know, there's a lot of implication going on, or it's one of those things where sometimes you have to sort of have your own interpretation of what happens, like Dear Esther is one of those games. I enjoyed Dear Esther a lot too, but I enjoy it more when it's just kind of when the story's really planted in my face and it's like, this is what's happening, here are the answers. I like finishing games like Dear Esther and then getting to look it up and see what people are saying, but I'm one of those people that I want to know what the true meaning was. I want to find out what the real goal of it was and stuff. So that's what Firewatch was to me. The game looked really pretty too. It was like I love the design. So here's one that doesn't really count, but I'm throwing it in anyway. Skyrim and the Bioshock remasters. So these aren't 2016 games necessarily, but they were remastered in 2016. Now Bioshock I played back in the PlayStation 3 generation. I love those games dearly. They're really starting to go up there for me on like my list of like high up there on like my favorite games of all time, especially Bioshock 1 and Bioshock Infinite. Those games are just like unbelievably like well crafted. Rapture is a beautiful place. Columbia is a beautiful like a world that was built. I mean, the endings to both of those games, don't even have to really talk about it. And same with Skyrim. So I won't spend too much time on that. But the only interesting thing about Skyrim is this is actually my first time going through Skyrim. The game's been out since 2011, but this is my first time doing it. I see why people love it like they do. I'm about 80 hours in. I got a lot done in the 80 hours that I've played, and I know people can play this game upwards to 300, 400, 500 hours, you know. But I'm about 80 hours in, and I'm still playing it. Every night I'll you know, chunk away at it, maybe for an hour or so, get a quest or two done. And I see why people love that as well. And that's actually it. I have two more that's left, but they're not PlayStation related, so I thought I'd save them for the end if somebody wants to like stop watching now or something, just as a courtesy. Some people do get annoyed if I don't talk about PlayStation for too long. So, but that's pretty much it in terms of, you know, the PlayStation stuff. Yeah, it was a I feel like I played more actually earlier in the year. I played a lot of I played the 3 GTA games that were on the, you know, PlayStation Store for PS4 that got trophies. I spent a lot of time on those. So that kind of falls in the Skyrim and Bioshock thing too. I will say there's a lot of stuff I want to play. Honestly, I'm hoping to finish Pokemon and Skyrim relatively soon so I can pick up Final Fantasy 15 and Last Guardian. So anyway, going into my last two games, Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon, obviously. You guys know I am a huge Pokemon fan. It's really getting up there for me. I think it might even be eclipsing Jak and Daxter at this point. I'm just starting to realize that I love Pokemon as a franchise like way too much, to the point where I'm getting like really irrationally like angry about it in certain instances. Like I'm becoming one of those people. I love that universe so much. I think Sun and Moon were fantastic games. The only thing I didn't like about Sun and Moon is that the story is way too in your face. Every like 2 seconds a scene's playing out, and I feel like it's very annoying because you know, since it's a game, obviously it doesn't have voice acting, so you have to read, and that's always been the case with Pokemon. But the fact that it's so frequent makes it seem more of a chore that you have to pay attention and you know, click through every single time, and it's like you'll see on the decks where you need to go, and you'll enter a new route and a scene will play, and then halfway into the route a scene will play, and then, you know, as you exit the route a scene will play, and it's like, that's like X and Y had a little bit of that, same with Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, but before then it was not like that. You know, you could go at your own free will, you could talk to whoever you wanted to, and it's just like, it's getting way too in your face now with the story element. And the story for Sun and Moon is kind of like going more towards like the anime, and I fucking hate the Pokemon anime because it's not canon to the game's main, you know, way of storytelling and the way the games craft the universe. Like it's quite obvious that for all of the Pokemon games, Pokemon don't say their names, and the anime just kind of said fuck that, and for all of the Pokemon anime they say their names. Like that's always been like one of my biggest pet peeves, and it seems like a lot of the anime DNA is trickling into the game, so I really don't like that. But other than that, I love everything else. I actually love Alola a lot. I think the location and the thing they did with there and the forms, I really liked it a lot. So yeah, I'm still playing Sun and Moon. I'll probably be playing that well into like probably January or February, which is when I'm guessing I'll have the time to do Final Fantasy 15 Last Guardian. Anyway, the last one, Pokemon Go. Here's the thing about Pokemon Go. Like I just mentioned, I'm a huge fan of Pokemon. So the game comes out. It's a world phenomenon. People love it. They're playing it. Even if you don't like Pokemon, people are playing it. Great. Since I'm one of those irrational fans, I'm just kind of sitting in the back thinking like, God damn it, you people don't even like Pokemon, and they're flooding the servers. I can't even fucking play the thing. Now that the game has essentially died off, you know, that mass amount of people, like it's no longer a social phenomenon. Now that all those people left, I can still keep playing it and thoroughly enjoy it at my own pace. And here's the thing, I will totally acknowledge that Pokemon Go is without a doubt the most mobile game you could think of. It is completely shallow. It is microtransaction up the ass. It's got you know, some people argue it isn't, but there is a pay-to-win aspect to it. It is without a doubt a completely shallow mobile game that I probably would never play if it wasn't Pokemon. But I'm not gonna lie, it's Pokemon, and I had a lot of, despite the fact that it actually, I think objectively it is like kind of a bad game, despite the fact that that's the case, I still spent a ton of time playing it over the summer. Me and my girlfriend would spend whole days out playing, you know, going to stops, walking our eggs, you know, and we always had like crazy oh shit moments when we were playing it, because it is a game where you legitimately have to fucking get out of the house to find decent shit. So it'd always be a situation where we'd be walking, we'd see something on the radar and go, oh my god, like, you know, that's over there. We go over there and it's like, oh my god, finally a coffin. We've never got a coffin before, and we're sitting there. And at the same time, we were super frustrated throughout the summer because the game did have so many glaring problems. We would hatch like 20 to 30 eggs in a day, and we would get nothing but repeats, and it would literally ruin our day. So it's funny because you kind of argue, why would you? That doesn't sound like a fun game at all, but like I said, Pokemon fan, I put up with it. My dex right now in Pokemon Go is at 130, 136 or 137. So I'm getting up there. The game is just astronomically like luck based. So to get the last remaining ones I need is abnormally difficult because I don't live in a major city, so it's not really that easy for me to just get all these easy spawns. But yeah, Pokemon Go, and that's it. Those are my favorite games that I played throughout 2016. That's all I wanted to talk about with you guys this week. The PS4 Pro review is up. Check it out. You can see what I think of the PlayStation 4 Pro. Pretty professional stuff, let me tell you. And yeah, so who knows in terms of news? It's probably going to be pretty slow, so we'll do probably something else at some point. I think it's when 2017 starts is when we'll do the predictions video, which I know a lot of people really look forward to that one. And we'll go over the predictions from, you know, at the beginning of the year, and we'll grade how I did, and that'll be all well and good. I'm sure you guys can go watch that video, go find that video on your own and see how I did. But that concludes this week's episode. Let's Talk PlayStation. I'm R.I.P. Thank you all so much for talking with me. I'll see you guys next Friday.